Good morning, good afternoon, or good night, and welcome to Command Power, the show in which we discuss all things Magic the Gathering with a focus on Commander. And today we have another episode in our Spoiler Spotlight series in which I talk about, well, spoilers and tell you what my thoughts are on them. But before that, just a quick reminder to click subscribe if you enjoy my videos. We're well on our way to 1 million subscribers and your support means everything to me. And today we're going to be talking about Tarrian's Journal. For 1 colorless and 1 black, it's a legendary artifact with tap, sacrifice another artifact or creature, draw a card, activate only as a sorcery, and 2 colorless, tap, discard your hand, transform Tarrian's Journal. And on the other side is the Tomb of Aclazotz, a legendary land cave with tap, add black, and tap, you may cast a creature spell from your graveyard this turn. If you do, it enters the battlefield with a finality counter on it, and it's a vampire in addition to its other types. So this provides a lot of very interesting utility that I think is worth mentioning. For starters, it's a nice sack outlet for aristocrats decks. Being able to draw a card with this per turn by sacrificing a creature or artifact is really good. It's also worth mentioning that there's not many black cards that straight up allow you to sacrifice an artifact, so in certain very niche decks that want to be sacrificing artifacts in black, that's a good ability to have for sure. The second ability is where it starts to get interesting, and it does have a little bit of anti-synergy with the first one, unfortunately, because if you've been drawing a bunch of cards with this, then you don't want to discard your hand as much, so you do kind of want to plan ahead and see where you're going with your game plan before you decide what to do with this. Of course, if you're in a deck that wants to fill up their graveyard, this is fantastic. For 2 mana, this is giving you a way to discard your entire hand. That's actually really powerful in certain decks, again, that want to have all of their hand dumped into their graveyard. A deck that comes to mind, for example, would be Muldrotha. This is particularly good in that deck, seeing as it's an artifact that allows you to sacrifice another artifact to replay it again from the graveyard. Feels very, very strong in this deck. But once you flip it over, it's when the real fun begins, because on the other side, you're going to be able to cast a creature spell from your graveyard. So basically, it's giving you another version of that Muldrotha effect. When the creature does come into play, however, it is going to come with a finality counter. That's a new piece of tech from this set. What that basically means is it's going to be exiled if it would die. However, you can get around that in other ways, such as bouncing the creature to your hand or blinking it and then removing the finality counter from it. But even if you're just getting to rebuy a creature once each time, doing that once per turn is effectively going to give you another card in hand as long as you have a creature in the graveyard, and it just allows you to rebuy all sorts of enter the battlefield triggers, all sorts of abilities from creatures. Having this kind of utility on a land honestly seems really, really powerful to me. Obviously, it's not a land when it starts off. You do have to do a little bit of work to get there, but if you want to, it's very easy to transform it. You just have to be willing to discard your hand. That's why I think this is, again, a card that is very narrow and very specific, but in the decks that it's going to go in, it's going to be one of the best cards in the deck. So as we were saying, Muldrotha is probably the main one, but another good one is Carador Ghost Chieftain. This is a deck that people maybe haven't played mostly for a long time since it's fallen a little bit out of favor, but this card fits very, very well in that deck. Obviously, any deck that's playing Living Death is going to be really, really happy with this because you're going to fill your graveyard with stuff suddenly and then reanimate it all with Living Death. That seems very powerful. Similarly, there's a creature in this same set that has basically the Living Death ability stapled onto it. We'll talk about it on a different time, but that's also going to work very, very well with this artifact. So yeah, it's doing a lot of different stuff and it's all a little bit niche, but when you put it all together, if you have a deck that wants to use every part of this card, it becomes really, really strong. I'm quite excited about this one. So there you have it. Those have been my thoughts on this new spoiler. What do you think about this card? Please let me know in the comment section below. I read all comments and respond to all of them too. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to click like or subscribe. It really helps the channel. And until next time, take care.